Welcome back, guys and gals. Matty back again. Today we're going to talk about one of my favorite subjects in the entire world and one of my favorite things to do in the entire world, and that's winter camping and winter backpacking. I get a ton of questions on my channel regarding, winter backpacking and winter camping and winter backpacking trip ideas and winter backpacking gear ideas and, different tips and tricks for winter backpacking. So today we're going to talk about some gear that you can add to your loadout, be it your winter camping or your winter backpacking setup. It's going to add a bunch of comfort to your winter backpacking, your winter camping experience, and it's not going to cost you a whole lot of money. A lot of these are pretty inexpensive gear options to add to your loadout. The first one that we're going to talk about is adding a little bit of comfort to your sleep system and also adding a little bit of extra insulation to your sleep system. Now, I'm sure most people have a summer-rated sleeping pad or a summer-rated underquilt if you're a hammock camper. But when we dip down into winter temperatures, we're going to need a little bit of boost to the R value of our sleeping pad or the insulation in our underquilt. And I understand that not everybody wants to go and spend a couple $100s on a winter rated sleeping pad or a couple $100s on a winter rated underquilt. But there are some inexpensive ways to add a little bit of extra R value to your summer rated sleeping pad or to boost the insulation value of your underquilt. This is a plain run-of-the-mill blue closed cell foam sleeping pad. Now, I'm sure most of you guys and gals have seen these at every outdoor retailer that you guys walk into. You can find these things usually for between 10 to 20 bucks. They come in a whole bunch of different lengths and, different thicknesses. This one here is a 1/2 inch thick closed cell foam sleeping pad. Basically, you just lay it down and put your sleeping pad on top of it. It'll boost the R value of your sleeping pad. And what I like them for as well is that little 1/2 inch of foam provides a ton more cushioning. Now, if you guys are side sleepers like myself, I'm sure you guys have experienced your hip touching the ground in the middle of the night and you get that little cold spot. I like having these closed cell foam pads underneath the sleeping pad, especially in the winter time, because when your hip eventually does bottom out and you hit that one position where you just hit the ground with your hip bone or whatever, and I mean, it may just be a Matty issue. I'm a pretty narrow dude. But fine with this underneath, I don't get that cold spot. And it definitely does help boost the R value of my sleeping pad. And sticking with sleep systems, adding a simple, inexpensive throw blanket to your sleep system can add a ton of warmth and a ton of comfort when you're curled up for those long, cold nights in the backcountry. Now, what I've got here, these are commonly called the Costco down throws or the Costco synthetic throws. This one specifically is the Lazy Bear blanket, very similar to, the Costco blankets, like the down throws or the synthetic throws. This next one is an essential piece of gear to my winter sleep system, whether I'm in my hammock or whether I'm in a tent. And that's my ugly blue fleece sleeping pants. Now, there's absolutely nothing special about these pants here. They literally are $5 fleece pants that I got from some discount bulk retailer. I'm sure you could probably find something similar at Walmart, for 5 to 10 bucks or whatever. But I absolutely personally love a pair of fleece pants to sleep in the wintertime. I've tried the down pants and I'm really not a fan. And I just find for myself personally, fleece pants just tend to do the trick. I bring these pants specifically on every single winter backpacking trip I do, and they are so damn comfortable to sleep in. Now, as we get into wintertime, the days get shorter and the hikeable hours become less. So I find for myself personally, and I'm sure most people are like myself, I tend to spend a lot more time in camp on a winter backpacking trip, and a pretty inexpensive piece of gear that adds a ton of comfort to my winter backpacking and winter camping setup. Personally, I do carry a Silky Gomboy, and I know this is not the most inexpensive option out there for a folding saw, but I do know tons of people who have gotten by with using the really inexpensive Coghlan saws or, the Baco Laplanders. I used to carry a small Gerber saw with me. I never go out on any winter backpacking or winter camping trip without my saw. It gets used every single time I go out on a winter backpacking trip. To me, fire is absolutely essential, especially in the wintertime. I don't tend to use my stove in the wintertime. I tend to have a fire, and I do all my cooking on a fire, and I do all my snow melting on a fire. So bringing a saw with me is a no-brainer on a winter backpacking trip, and they really don't cost that much either. Since we're talking saws and fires for a winter backpacking trip, adding a couple extra Bic lighters to your winter backpacking setup is an extremely inexpensive way to add a ton of comfort and a huge safety factor, especially on a winter backpacking trip. Carry them on the inside pocket of your jacket or in the inside pocket of your pants close to your body to keep them warm so that when you do need to pull out the lighter, it's gonna work. Nothing sucks more than getting out on a winter backpacking trip or a winter camping trip and getting everything set up to build a fire, and you find out that your lighter is frozen up and you got to warm it up and you got to wait. I always carry my lighters on the inside pocket of my jacket, nice and close to my body, so when I need it, it's warm and it's going to spark up every time. This next piece of gear we're going to talk about is one of the most overlooked items, and not enough people are carrying this out on a backpacking trip, and they are so ridiculously cheap and lightweight, I think everybody should be carrying one, especially if you're going out on a winter backpacking trip. We're talking about a thermometer. I got this one here at my local MEC, and up here in Canada, MEC is basically our REI. I got this for like $2. It's extremely lightweight. Just have it on a little night eyes carabiner. I just clip it to, you know, one of the straps on my pack or whatever. Knowing the temperatures that you're dealing with, especially on a winter backpacking trip, is so important. And it frustrates me to no end when I'm out backpacking with people in the wintertime and everybody's constantly wondering, what's the actual temperature? What's the actual temperature? Don't be that guy. $2, get yourself a thermometer. That's right, don't be that guy. But if you want to know which guy to be the guy that heads on over here and watches one of my winter backpacking trip videos. So when you're done watching this one, like I said, go watch one of my winter trip videos. As always, guys, I am Matty. Thank you guys so dang much for watching, and I'll see you guys on the next one.